Dave's always moving, non-stop. He's always talking and he's always moving. Pow, pow, pow. I mean, when he leaves me, he walks off like this, just like a monkey. This is Dave. He always likes to point out the Dave that I hear is not this, but he represents the voice that I hear and have done for about 35 years. Hearing voices is I call it a normal human experience. Everybody will at some point. One of mine has just said that there are two kinds of human beings, those who hear voices and those who haven't yet. There are some people who think that a person hearing voices means that there's something wrong with them. It's regarded very often in our culture as a symptom of illness. It's really a symptom of being very much alive. We're going to Montreal and we're going for World Hearing Voices Congress. We meet up people from around the world once every year, this time of year, to share what we've been doing and what we've been learning.
I heard that Dave likes Montreal.
He loves Montreal.
Why?
It's his favourite place because he and I are always been told that he's not real, and Montreal has the word real in its name. If you can learn to put aside your fear, you will become curious, and then you'll become more curious and more curious, because it's the fear that stops us connecting with each other. Welcome to Congress. Because we've been taught that this is scary and dangerous, and it can be. But it gets more scary and dangerous the more we isolate ourselves from each other, the more we separate people who are struggling, because then we get scared of them and they are already scared of us. We're running an open workshop which we call Carnival des Voix, which is a puppet making workshop. Come and make puppets of whatever it is that you live with, that only you know about, or that you wish you had with you when you do have a hard time. And that will lead up to a kind of a procession of all of the puppets.
Yes, very cool. It's good that you got us together.
Yeah?
You had here your playroom.
Yeah, it's a playroom. It's about using play to help people explore and express something that words can't. On the invitation of make a puppet over whatever it is that you live with, if it's a voice or a spirit or whatever, that maybe you find difficult, or that other people don't know about, or that's difficult to talk about.
Yeah.
Who are they? What do they look like? Dress them up. And then you can get through to what do they say, what do they talk about, what do they sound like, how do you feel when they're doing this, what would you want people to know about your experience when this is going on, and how would you like them to support you? What I've learned is it gives me a bit of distance from him so I can actually have a conversation. Yeah. And when I don't have him with me, I'll do this. Because I don't just hear him, I see him too, and he's right here like this. Right here, like this. And I've learned that he's drawing my attention to something that may or may not be important, but I get to decide.
We started because we met people who hear voices but never became patients with us, and that for psychiatrists was very interesting, seeing, hey, didn't know they exist. At that time, people in psychiatry would easily identify people hearing voices with schizophrenia. Nowadays they don't do that, but they still keep it as a sign of illness. And we have developed that it isn't a sign of illness, but a human variation of working through problems or just being inspired by them. So there is a difference in your brains, but the difference is not illness. The difference is that, like with other variations, you're left-handed, you're right-handed, that kind of differences are also reflected in your brain. People who work and use their voices see their voices as a spiritual entities or spiritual gifts or spiritual way of connecting to other people.
So I sat for an hour and Dave and I wrote out 14 different explanations, very different explanations, theories, if you like, of why I hear voices. And my favourite one is because I can.
Because I can.
Because I can.
Yeah, it's a gift then in that sense.
Yeah, and I've learned to ask, like you were talking, in a spiritual sense, how can I work with this so it helps me? What he says is I am best understood as a quantum phenomena.
As a what?
Quantum phenomena.
Quantum.
Yeah, and what I understand from that, and I've no idea if this is what he means, but my interpretation of that is as soon as I think I know what he is, he changes. Dave's got a question for you, actually. You don't have to answer it, but he'd like to ask you, what do you like to do for fun?
Oh, no, I'm not sure. Sex I like.
Hey! Brilliant. Nice. Margaret Wheatley is probably one of my favourite writers, and the way that she talks about listening is connecting is healing, and healing is connecting, and not listening is fragmentary, and fragmentation is the source of all of the ills that we see in the world. So it's almost like if you wanted to make it really black and white, you have listening and not listening. You have a world where you can come together and work together, or you can have a world where we've basically got what we've got at the moment. For me, what this is about, it was named in Montreal by him. It's his idea, all his idea. This is Dave. It's really, for me, it's about showing one example of how we can do things in a completely different way from the way that they're normally done. It's about creating space so that people can have some fun and express who they are. That's it. That's all.